Hi, my name is Cheryl Vercamann, and I'm the Mayor of Marine City, and we have another edition of the Mayor Minute. Today, I am interviewing Sherri Becker, who is the principal of Marine City High School. Welcome, Sherri Becker.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So I always like to start off by asking, the usual, like, tell me about yourself. Your experience, your education, that kind of thing.
All right. Well, I am very familiar with the East China School District. I grew up in St. Clair, and I'm a St. Clair graduate. After graduating, I got my first teaching job here at St. Mary's in St. Clair, where I taught 3rd and 4th grade. And from there, I went down to St. Clair Shores and taught at South Lake Middle School for 18 years.
Wow.
Yep, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And then after that, in 2015, I came back home to St. Clair Middle School, where I was Dean of Students for 2 years. And then after that, I was transferred down to Marine City High School, where I've been principal since.
And where was your education at? Where did you go to college?
I started at SC4 and then transferred to U of M Flint. And then I got my master's from Saginaw and Oakland University.
Nice.
Yes. Yes.
Nice. Well, it seems like you've taught a variety of grades, which I think is, it's great for your wheelhouse, and especially to, to be a principal. What schools are your responsibility? Because I was told that you have 3 schools as your responsibility, or I thought it was just the high school.
I started off at just the high school, and then last year I absorbed the middle school. And this is our move towards a campus as we configure for the bond. So last year I picked up the middle school as well, so we were 612. And then this year I also picked up Riverview East, our alternative ed. So we are truly a campus now down in Marine City at the secondary level.
Because that's all in one,
yes,
right? The middle school, the high school, and Riverview are all
correct. We're all on one campus and all connected. So now we are truly a campus, which was the goal in the beginning with the bond. Yes.
How many kids do we have? Like I know it fluctuates, obviously. Like in the high school, the middle school, and Riverview. Right
now at the high school, we're about 530, 540 in between there, which has been pretty steady since I've been there. The middle school, we're about 330, between 330 and 340. And then at Riverview, we reconfigured how things are done this year, so we cap it off at 60 kids. So in a total, just about 600, just over 600 kids on campus.
And when you say you cap off Riverview, it's that is no more can come into that program.
In that, with Riverview, the population will fluctuate depending on the semester, because their kids can graduate earlier and such. So as they graduate, we bring more on.
So for those people that don't know, Riverview is an alternative school, or what is an alternative school? It's
just an opportunity for kids to get their diploma in a different educational setting. We have a different format at Riverview right now. They transitioned to this year, we're on a block schedule, so the kids have 4 classes that are about an hour and a half long. Half the day they might pick up a class that's on Accelerate, or they're face-to-face. Some of our kids still attend tech as well. And with doing that, at Riverview, they only have to earn 18 credits to graduate. So each quarter, they can earn 2 credits, which gets her closer to graduation. So some of these students may have fallen behind in the either St. Clair or Marine City High School, where they transferred in from, and this gives them a chance to catch up and graduate.
Because that's the ultimate goal,
correct.
Obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah, graduation.
To get these kids graduated with a diploma.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what qualifies a student for Riverview? Is that just throughout their school years, they're struggling, or does a teacher just recommend that they go there? Usually
once they get to high school, at Marine City, we try to keep them with us as long as we can. But if we find they're not earning the credits, we might suggest Riverview, because it is a smaller community. The cap size on classes is maybe 20-ish, depending on the hour. And it gives it a smaller environment for them to learn from. It gives them a little bit more flexibility. And we can usually get them caught up and graduated. So there's criteria. Generally, students might be behind some credits, and we can get them more by earning 2 credits per quarter rather than the 6 per semester. So,
so if a kid goes to Riverview, can they still are they still in the main population of the high school, or are they pretty much separated?
It's considered a separate school, just like our East China Virtual Academy is considered a separate school this year. It is its own entity.
Can they get involved with sports and clubs and stuff too?
Not sports, but we do still participate with tech.
Right,
Our
St. Clair Tech.
yes, which is a big part of our programs.
Yeah. Yeah, both my kids went to St. Clair Tech. I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had a kid in school, though. That's why I'm asking these questions.
Yes.
Right? We're going to get right into safety drills. What kind of safety drills do we have in our schools? You know, I mean, obviously there's fire, weather, and safety.
Yeah. We're mandated by the state of Michigan every year to have so many fire drills, tornadoes, and lockdown drills, and that's what we do. So throughout the year, we space them out so the kids, as they change classes, they know where to go as far as for fire drills from each of the entities in the building. For tornado, that's pretty much the same. And then lockdown drills, we talk about the different scenarios in case of a lockdown and what you would do. So,
you know, you talk about the lockdown. I mean, obviously all schools, I would imagine in Michigan now are, you know, what they would call lockdown, right? Where you just can't walk into the building through the main door and report to the office. You have to get buzzed in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. All our building have buzz-in systems. You know, guests report to the front door, they're asked to identify themselves, and then they're let in upon approval. And then everything's locked down during the day. As soon as the kids enter, everything's locked down, and as well as all the doors on campus. So,
does anybody like walk around? As like if you're a teacher in a certain area, is that your responsibility to make sure that exterior doors, you know, are closed, or is that custodial? Or
it's kind of everybody's job.
Yeah.
I know one of the things the kids tease me about is I go around every morning and I pop in every room and say good morning, just making sure the doors are locked and all the doors on the perimeter is locked as well. But I want to make sure the kids see that I'm there and what's going on, and it's just one of the things we do throughout the day.
I think that's a good thing. Yeah. So when the kids are in class, is the classroom door shut?
Classroom doors are shut and locked.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, it's been proven that's the safest way to keep our kids in case there was an emergency. So that's a practice we're working on.
And some of the windows in the doors, right? There's obviously the classroom doors have windows.
Correct.
Is there a covering for those?
Not necessarily. That way we can see what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So I was just curious. So in your opinion, how safe are our schools?
I think we're pretty safe up in Marine City, but you know, there's always ways to make things safer. And luckily, we have great kids in our building, and if they see something that does not look right, they're good to point it out so we can investigate it. So you know, a lot of things goes to the kids. And being a smaller community, everyone knows everyone. So if something does look off, you know, they come and tell us right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine being the principal of, like, you know, Anchor Bay High School. That's, you know, what's 5,000 kids?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
a couple thousand, yes.
Yeah.
We could fit our school in one of their wings.
And, you know, sometimes small is good. You know?
Yeah, the kids don't realize that. It is an advantage knowing everybody. And it's also a disadvantage, but they don't realize that. They see it as a disadvantage now, but we see it as an advantage. And as they get older, they'll understand why.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, you mentioned, you know, safety being everybody's responsibility. And I've always said this, and I'm sure you'll agree, that if somebody really wanted to do something, I mean, come on.
Right.
You know,
you can have every
things
safety
could happen.
precaution.
Yeah. But, you know, it really does help when, you know, certain things are heard maybe on the bus or through social media or something, and that is reported, because that to me, I think, is the first line.
Absolutely. And our kids are good if they see something on social media, bringing it to our attention. And we have a really good relationship with the local police department. It's not uncommon for the officers to just come and walk around school, you know, making those connections with our kids as well. So if anything does come up, we can call them, and they're literally right down the block. So they've been very supportive as well. Yeah.
And is that Marine City police officer or county as well?
We deal mostly with Marine City because we're in the city, but the sheriffs as well.
Yeah, I think that's I think police presence, because I interviewed the chief of police also couple months ago, and police presence is huge.
Yes.
You know, whether, you know, my dad was a cop, you know, and, you know, back in the day, he walked the beat. You know, he was downtown and he walked the beat. And I had an elderly lady approach me just a couple of months ago, and she said, she came into the restaurant and she says, I knew your dad. And I'm like, you did? She says, yeah. She goes, I'd, you know, walk into work, and if it was dark, you know, he always made sure I got into the building, and, you know, always made sure I got to my car, and, you know, and that's a police officer doing that. That's not some security in the building, you know. And I was just kind of surprised that, you know, I'm talking 50 years ago at least, that she still remembered it, and she still had that warm spot in her heart. So forming those relationships is huge. Right,
and I think it's important for the kids to see them there, not just when something's wrong. Like, hey, they're here to help us, they support us, and I think it's a good relationship we have. So.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about being small town, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about visitors coming to school. So for, you know, I don't know, can I as a grandparent walk into school and visit my grandchild?
Not in current times, no. And honestly, at the secondary level, we don't get a lot of visitors per se just coming by to see their kids. More at the secondary level, what we get is like armed forces, the recruiters coming in where they have to set up appointments prior to try and recruit. We will have parents that we know are coming in for appointments, but other than that, we don't get a lot of visitors per se. You know, it's a different structure at the secondary level, and it's pretty tight. So
how quickly that changes, because I used to go to the elementary school, Bell River, and I'd have lunch with my grandkids, you know, and then all of a sudden middle school happens, and it's like, oh, you won't see me for the rest of your high school and middle school career.
Yeah, and a lot of times at the secondary, they don't not necessarily want you around.
I know it changes in one
It does
summer.
Change quickly.
It does. It really does. Cameras. Do we have cameras in the buildings?
We do. We have cameras that cover the hallways and parking lots. Yes.
And is that, I don't want to get too involved with our camera system and stuff. I'm assuming that it's filmed and, you know, you retain those in case something happens. And
yes. We have access.
Yeah, that's good. Let's talk about trade school options. I mean, we still have St. Clair Tech.
We do.
Has Tech ever stopped?
No, not since I've been here 5 years, and my 2 years at St. Clair. That's always been here. I believe that's a staple item in St. Clair County.
When my kids were in Tech, there was culinary arts, like building, automotive, nursing, cosmetology. I'm sure I'm missing something.
Yeah, they have a plethora of programs now. Big programs for us are the construction, welding. They've added things like cybersecurity, education. So they keep adding to it. And we do take advantage of the tech program. We have quite a few kids in it. They attend either half the day in the morning or afternoon, and then they're at their home school the opposite end of the day. But yeah, it's a great option for kids that aren't sure what they want to do, and they walk away with skills that can help them post-graduation.
I know trade schools are, I mean, oh my goodness, you know, try to find a plumber, try to find an electrician.
They're begging for people right now.
Yeah. Is it well attended? Do you know a lot about Tech? I mean,
I know enough. No, they do. They have, you know, attendance policies and everything, because some of these kids have to end up taking a state test at the end, for some of their programs to get their certificate. So the kids take it very seriously, and their attendance is very high there. So, and they're meeting kids from the other schools in the county, and they, you know, once some of the programs, once you're in your senior year, you have a work base, so you're actually going on site and everything you've learned, putting it into practice. So. It's a great opportunity for our kids, and I'm glad we have that partnership.
Yeah, I think St. Clair Tech is a huge program. I know that I belong also to the Community Economic Development Board, and there's a couple of, I don't want to say factory owners, but, you know, owners of businesses that, you know, make things, you know, and they're always talking about, you know, how important trade schools are, and to get those kids that young start.
Absolutely.
You know. Is there placement? I can't remember when my kids were in tech. Do they place at the end of graduation?
Not necessarily, but I know a lot of them, like I'll speak to construction per se, those kids that are on site with these kids sometimes land a job with them afterwards, so it depends. And I know, you know, with our tech program, we have a class at Marine City called CCR, which is Career and College Readiness. The first part of it, you look at getting ready for the SAT, taking the test, but a big portion of the class is exploring post-secondary education, what you want to do. If you're on school-bound, you know, looking at universities, you know, what they cost, what's expected, different job opportunities that are out there, as well as we look at the trades, because we don't know what not every kid's meant for college, so we do have the trades. And we generally bring in a speaker from the unions, and he talks to the kids about it. And I know every year he asks for a list of kids, of possible students that want to go in the trades. And I can tell you every year since I've been at the high school, I get calls from local businesses looking for kids. Can you give me names? Unfortunately, a lot of our kids aren't 18 when they graduate yet.
Right.
So I can give the information, but until they turn 18, they're always looking for workers. So right now, the trades is the place to be.
Trades is the place to be. Somebody just posted something on social media about, you know, the average wage of electricians and apprentices, and I mean everything from, you know, tree removal, and you know,
absolutely,
it's not the $12 an hour job that it used to be.
No.
You know, I mean, of course, what is nowadays?
Right.
You know,
right.
There's nothing out there that's that inexpensive. Does Career Day still happen?
You know what? We were all set for a Career Day in March 2020, and then Corona hit. And then we've been very limited in what we could do. I'm really hoping to pull one off this year. We were very fortunate this year to qualify for a grant through Michigan College Network, CAM, where we're going to be getting a college advisor on each of the campuses. So St. Clair will have an advisor for St. Clair and East China Virtual Academy, and then we will have one for Riverview in Marine City. So this person will be working with our counselors and the kids with college, like filling out FAFSA forms, working on applications, things of that sort. But I'm really hoping this person can pull a Career Day together, as well.
Yeah.
So
because Career Day, you know, I'm talking a million years ago when I was in school, it was very popular. I mean, we as a student, I remember being excited that we could, you know, talk to, you know, such a variety of industries, you know, and of course you got the armed. Let's not forget about the armed services.
Right.
You know? Yeah. My son joined the Army recently. You know, he was 29, I think, when he went in, and he did it for you know educational purposes. You know?
Right.
So you can never go wrong.
Correct.
You know, joining the armed services.
Yeah, and we have quite a handful every year that join, and now they're coming back, and they look a little bit more grown up than when they left us.
Yeah, it's quite the change.
Yes.
How important do you think are extracurricular activities for students?
I think they're extremely important, and I would probably guess between 75-85% of our kids are involved in something.
Wow.
We have a huge following from our band. We have a big drama program. Obviously, our athletics. I mean, it was a big fall for us in Marine City. We had our tennis team qualify for states and travel down to Ann Arbor and ended up 9th in the state. And then our football team went all the way to the state finals, where we got to play at Ford Field.
I was there.
Finished up. Yep, I think the whole town, I have to say, standing on the field and looking up was way cool on our sideline to see that many people there, all in orange and black. It was a good feeling. But also we have our band, who always gets the top rating at their competition. And we have our drama, who last year, via virtual platform, was #1 in the state.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, and then this year they're getting ready to defend their title. In February, they go to regionals, at Avondale High School, I believe, to perform, in hopes to move on to the state level once again. So and then, you know, in the past, obviously the last 2 years has been a damper. We've had Science Olympiad that's traveled, and you know, all our sports teams, for being a small school playing against the schools we fare well.
Yeah.
So pretty proud of our kids.
I guess.
Yes.
I mean, that's a really high rate. That's good for me, because I was involved in a lot of you know, activities too, and I think that's, you know, really huge for, you know, personality development, and you know, you just kind of figure out where you want to go, and forming friendships is huge.
I'm just amazed at how many of our kids do multiple things within a season. You know, our kids, I look at our seniors who are polling AP classes, dual enrolled classes in a sport. They're president of our senior class of student government. They're on NHS, and they're juggling all this and making it happen. So, like I said, we have really good kids in our building.
I'm not going to complain. No, none of us should complain then as the adults, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the drama. What play do they put on a play to compete?
Yes, they do. They have parameters, a time limit for what they can do. So it's different than a play we'd go see like in the fall or winter. I don't have all the logistics of it. I know this weekend they're performing, forgive me, I forget where they're performing at this weekend, one act plays. So they've had different groups getting ready to go perform their one acts. And then in a couple weeks, they'll go over to Avondale and perform for regionals. They'll have two separate groups that have been practicing, so they'll both perform. And but they have, I want to say it's like a 25-minute time limit. You know, it's different rules for the states.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we have some pretty talented
cool.
kids. It is really
I mean,
neat.
it really is cool. You know, and one of the things that I think is great too is that, you know, we have local theater here.
Yes.
You know, so like I'm taking all my grandkids to go see the Addams Family.
Okay.
There's a lot of young actors and actresses, like
Absolutely.
a lot of young. You know,
Yes.
and I'm sure that, you know, some of them are local. We do have kids that travel from, some of them travel 45 minutes. And that's a big commitment to come in and practice every day and then do the shows every day and that kind of thing. So local talent, I would think, would be huge.
And I know some of our kids have participated down at the riverbank. And I think one thing people fail to realize is we see the athletics and the practices and the games, and how much time's put in. Just as much time, if not more, is put in by our fine arts. The band that has the week camp in July and gets ready, and they practice every night to come out and entertain us every Friday night and have their own competition, which we host in October. And then the drama, they start months before they actually showcase it to us. And they, you know, that week especially leading up Tech Week, I mean, they're at the pack nonstop. So the amount of hours these kids are putting into everything is amazing. On top of their schoolwork, and you know, staying honor roll kids and whatever else they're involved in. And some of them are working on top of it. So
I think it's for us to have the Performing Arts Center and to have, you know, the local riverbank, and then now in St. Clair, right? They're I forgot the name of the theater that they're building. Did they ever name it?
I don't know.
I know where it's going.
Yeah, I know the corner. I can visualize it right now, and I don't know the name they gave it. But
anyway, I think that's phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, that really does bring you know, a lot of people in the community. It offers a lot of, you know, employment opportunities, and it's just kind of cool to have.
Yes, it is.
You know, I've always enjoyed local theater, you know, and I've supported local theater in many communities. You know, I used to always take my kids to go see the Nutcracker, and we would go and travel different places, you know, and see the same play, but you're in a different venue.
Correct.
And you know, it's just kind of neat.
And what's neat about all this is to see how all our kids support each other. Like, you have the band at the football game Friday night, Saturday night you might have the football play at the drama performance. I mean, just all the kids support each other in everything they do. So that's really nice to see. You
know what I thought was really cool at Ford Field was when the halftime show came up.
Yep.
There were 4 football players that dropped their stuff and ran out and performed with the band, and I was like, that is really cool. I mean, I know that there's always a cross.
Usually we have a couple cheerleaders and football players that at halftime drop everything and go to the band and then run back with the team. So
yeah. I just thought it was kind of neat.
It's just a test to everything our kids are involved in.
How is enrollment?
I think at our end of the district, the Marine City end, we're pretty level now. I know we did see a drop for a couple years, and I know throughout the district there's been a continuous drop, but I think at our end we've pretty much leveled out. We're probably where we're going to be the next handful of years. So yeah.
For someone like me that doesn't know, I mean, is there a certain percentage? Obviously you want everybody to, there's a graduation percentage, I would imagine. Like, what is the mark that we try to hit?
We try for 100% every year, and since we've been there, we've hit 100%. So
wow.
Yeah. Generally, we have pretty good attendance with our kids, and they're making it, and they're on track to graduate. So that's always a good box to check off, and it's a good thing to have in our city.
Do you think that Riverview is because of Riverview, that's a good program?
Yes.
To make that 100% capacity?
Yeah, and if we know, yes, it does help. It support our 100%, because if we see a student that's not on track, we suggest Riverview, say, hey, you can still make it at this point by transferring over. So that does help us.
Yeah.
And if we do have a student that is not on track to graduate, we have some supports in place. Like we have a program called Accelerate, which is an online platform where students, instead of taking an elective, they will take a Accelerate class during the day so they can earn that credit back. If they don't have time in their schedule during the day, then we are there 2 days a week with Mrs. Henry, our counselor. She stays with the kids so they can stay after and take an Accelerate class to earn that credit back. And then also during the summer, they have the opportunity. So the kids are given opportunities to earn those credits back throughout the year, so they are still on track to graduate.
Yeah, that's good. Are we having any issues hiring and retaining teachers?
Not retaining. Once we get them here, we're pretty good. So far, we've been lucky, but we have noticed the pool is smaller than it used to be. We're at a tipping point in Michigan that teachers are picking where they want to teach. I know when I graduated, we would interview everywhere and hope for one return call. It's that pendulum that keeps swinging. You have a surplus and now you don't. So right now we've been lucky and fortunate that we draw East China, but across Michigan we are going to see a shortage soon, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah, and what on earth can you do? I mean, what can you do?
I don't know. Luckily, I know we do have a handful of our students that are going to school for education, whether it's elementary or secondary. So hopefully we'll be able to pull them back into our system as well. But
yeah, the career of teacher has changed.
Very much.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, our teachers the last couple of years have encountered things you couldn't even imagine when we entered this profession with the transition to online, and then last year they taught online and face-to-face, and this year we've tried to make the year as normal as possible for the kids with having them all face-to-face. I wouldn't say it's normal. I'm not sure what our new normal is going to play out to be, but our teachers have been phenomenal with just pivoting every chance they've had to in working with our kids and keeping the focus on the kids.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I still think it's a one of the most noble professions, obviously, but I think that if I had to do that career choice, back in the day, I would probably choose a small school too. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's something to be said to walk through the halls and know everybody. I actually had a student transfer here from Anchor Bay, and this is nothing about against Anchor Bay, but they said it was just so much calmer walking through the halls because there's so many fewer kids.
Right.
And they're starting to know people, and they liked that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Some people like the big, and some people like the small, and I'm just small town, small atmosphere. So,
yeah, I agree. What's your opinion? This is just something that I thought of.
Okay.
Because I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine that works in Lance Crew schools. We were talking about casual uniforms in public schools, you know, and she loves the idea, you know, because, and I'm talking, when I say casual uniforms, I'm just, you know, you wear jeans, you can wear khakis, like polo shirts, sweaters. I mean, you have certain things that it's not like you're going out and spending a ton of money on an actual uniform like you know, Holy Cross or the other parochial schools. And, you know, sometimes I think that casual uniforms can solve a multitude of problems.
Absolutely. I think it would make a lot easier for kids in the morning trying to figure out what they're going to wear throughout the day.
Yeah, that is for sure.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. You know, I'm sure the kids would think, you know, not so much, but casual would be good.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something to be the forerunner and bring that back?
It would be.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
What would you like parents to know about, you know, that some parents, I mean, we all know we've got the active parents, you know, we see them volunteering all the time, and then you have some parents that, you know, because of career or whatever, they're just not that involved with, you know, their kids' education or the school itself. So what do you want all the parents to know about Marine City High School and middle school? And
I just think to keep in mind that we set out each and every day to do what's best for the kids, and we keep the kids at the forefront of all our decisions. Sometimes parents don't agree with our decisions, but you know, we have a whole building of students we have to think about when making the decision, and that's what we're doing. We want what's best for all of them. For parents, I think right now, I think it's just important to know to please support us in what we're doing. This is not an easy time to be going through. Like I said earlier, we're putting on a facade that everything looks normal, but we're not quite to normal yet. We have kids in and out because of health reasons, and we're trying to support them every way possible, and that's just what we're asking for, is support in return. And if you have questions or hear something, please call the school and get firsthand information from us, rather than using a social media as your first line of information, because it's not always accurate.
It's not always accurate. That is for sure. What is the current, do we have a dropout rate? I mean, obviously you said we're always shooting for 100%, but is there a dropout rate that is a change in the last couple of years?
You know what, I can't think since I've been here, we've had 100% graduation. So we're very fortunate, and our teachers and administration works with those kids to make sure they make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we catch them before. We're not waiting until April, May saying, hey, look it. No, we're on them, and we have excellent counselors, and Mrs. Henry and Mrs. Graven, that meet with these kids every year and say, hey, this is where you're at. This is what you need. You know, this is how we need to get there. So it's laid out from year one, their track. And when they start falling behind, they're meeting with those kids more frequently and contact home. We're working with the kids, the parents, to make sure it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yes.
So we have an upcoming bond.
Yeah, we
somewhere in the future.
Yeah. Actually, in March of 2020, we passed the bond on that Tuesday, and Friday the world shut down.
Yeah.
So here we are celebrating the passage of the bond, and then everything kind of went on hold. And over the last couple of years, we have had the opportunity to start planning the phases of the bond. First phase will be the Innovation Center that's taking place currently at the current central office. You can go on the website and watch a live cam of the construction going on there. And what the Innovation Center is going to give us, I believe, 8 classrooms that we will be able to offer classes for students at both ends of the district. So that's pretty exciting, because right now, with our small class sizes and population, we're not always able to offer every class every year. So hopefully, with combining with St. Clair, we'll be able to get these kids in the class they want every year.
And where is that at?
That's at our current central office. If you can envision the central office, is actually going in front in the current parking lot. Part of it will be new classrooms there, as well as being attached to the current PAC. So that's exciting. That's scheduled to be done about end of August this year.
Oh.
So that'll be exciting to see how it all formulates together. And then at the Marine City end, we were in the design phase of our bond project. And the intent at our end is to combine the middle school and the high school all onto the current high school campus. So all the classrooms that are at the middle school, we will fit into the high school area. Because currently right now we have a handful of rooms sitting empty. So we'll be able to mesh everybody nicely into one building. And that, once our design phase is done, it'll go to bid, and then hopefully we'll start construction by the end of the summer at Marine City High School. We'll start the phasing, which is really exciting. We'll get some new classrooms out of it. Every room will get an upgrade with new flooring, new LED lighting, new furniture, upgrade to our technology. I know this past summer our infrastructure, which has been a problem because our old infrastructure in East China just could not handle all the devices. I mean, you think about when this system was put in, we had computers. And since then, we have Chromebooks, kids have Apple Watches, they have cell phones, they have, you figure 5 devices for every person.
Wow.
So our infrastructure could not handle it. So this past summer, they went through and updated the infrastructure to handle all these devices. So that's been put in, and then we'll move towards getting more Chromebooks for the buildings. And so new paint, flooring, furniture, technology, just freshen the building up and get everybody in one spot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
and
going
then
to be nice.
So what's going to happen with the middle school then?
We will keep a portion of it, but currently some of the middle school is sinking, and it's been recommended to raise it. So part of it will be coming down. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when the middle school and high school combine, they're really not combining. I mean, you're not going to have, there's still a separation.
Correct. Yeah, when we do this, we'll have a wing that is still the middle school, and then the area of the high school. Right now, we currently share teachers throughout the day, which they have been since I've been at Marine City. So we share our art teacher, and we share our band teacher, and we share our choir teacher, and every year it seems more and more we're sharing more teachers. So I think right now we share like 9 teachers combined. So as our class sizes, have gotten smaller, we've had to share more. So it'll make it easier for the kids who are walking back and forth to be on one campus instead of going through both schools. So they'll cut my walking down too.
You'll be able to get those 6,000 steps, or whatever you're supposed to get. You had mentioned class size. What is it, the average class size in high school and middle school? Is there an average?
It depends on the class coming through. Like this year's graduating class is 130-some. Our smallest group right now is our 7th grade. There's about 80 kids there, which bounces right back up from the 6th grade. So class sizes anywhere from 25 to 28 is the average, depending on what the offering is.
Yeah,
so.
That's not bad.
No. And those are your core classes that everyone has to take. Now the electives, those vary. So that's why it'll be nice to have the Innovation Center in place, because there's been electives we can't offer because we just don't have enough, 10 or less kids, I don't have a teacher to run it. I know, for example, our AP classes, we've had 5 AP classes every year, and we have to rotate between AP Physics and AP Chemistry, because we don't get enough kids every year. So we kind of put them on a rotating schedule so they can get both if that's what they want. But with the Innovation Center and combining with St. Clair, we'll be able to offer that to kids every year. So that would be nice.
Very nice, yeah. Yeah. You had mentioned technology and devices, and let's talk about cell phones real quick. I'm just kind of, because I'm old school. I don't think I would allow, if I was a teacher, I don't think I'd allow cell phones in my classroom. So what's your opinion on that?
I'm staying neutral on it, because I do see a place for the use of technology, cell phones in the classroom. Some of our teachers are doing a great job of incorporating educational platforms that the kids do have to, get this out and go here, or, we're going to play Kahoot, go here, or bring this up. So some of them are a fabulous job. And then we do have teachers that don't, put your phones away. We don't need them. We're going to communicate. Because the lost art is communication right now.
The
that
lost art
soft
is
skill.
communication. Yep.
Kids, drives me nuts. Walking down the hall, they're on the phone. Hey, look up. Put your phone away. I know this is awful. Sometimes I'll purposely move in their lane, so they have to look up. I'm like, you need to put that phone up, and you need to look at what's going around. So put the phones away and see what's going on around you.
Yeah.
Because you're missing a lot with this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I'm always looking at the safety end of it too. You miss a lot when your head is down.
Correct.
Just driving here.
Yes.
Just driving here. I'm getting ready to pull into this parking lot, and they were kids, 2 different cars, both of them looking down. And I know darn well, because I taught drivers that they were on their phones.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm right here.
Yeah, they're a blessing. But at the same time, they're a curse, and we gotta. They're not going away. So our challenge is to figure out how to incorporate them, so that to use them to our advantage. So
yeah, that's good. I mean, it's good. It's good to know, in my opinion, that there are some teachers that, like you said, when they're done, put them away. Yeah, having that communication, because you really can get lost in the sauce.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know from my own kids at home, a certain time hits at night, go put those phones on the counter. They're not in your rooms, they're on the counters. Dinging needs to stop.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you should have a break from that.
I need a break from it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But everybody needs a break from it,
Yeah.
Anything else?
Not that
I mean, we kind of went through like a lot of different things. And, I always say that this is your opportunity to say
No,
what
I
you
know
wanna
when we
say.
go places, it's always nice because we'll leave and we'll get calls, letting us know how good our kids were at a certain venue and such. And people ask me why Marine City. I said, we have great kids. I don't want to move anywhere because of our kids, and I stay and do what I do because of our kids. And it really is. They're fun to be around. We have some really cool kids, and once you get to know them. It's been a little bit more difficult the last couple of years. Usually by their senior year, I know 95% of them, but with the masks going the last couple of years, it's been a little bit more difficult. So we have great kids, great teachers. It really is a good place to be. So
yeah.
And
I want to see faces.
Yeah. Well, we were very fortunate. We started off this year face to face. With no masks, so we made it almost half a year. Hopefully we'll get back to that point. But I have to give a shout out to the staff I have as well. I couldn't do what I do without them. I have 2 great assistant principals. I've worked with Dave Maru, who's my assistant principal, for all 5 years here. We worked previously together in South Lake, so we have this work husband-wife relationship that works. We complement each other. And then this year I was fortunate enough to bring Jess Simons on board to help with the campus needs. So without their support, and now the teachers who just, once again, they work tirelessly and are doing what's best for our kids. And I can ask them, hey, let's do this, let's try this, and they're willing to do it. So without them, we wouldn't have the building we have. So it's a group effort. It takes everybody.
A group effort, yeah. And you're right about everybody putting in more than 100%. I know so many teachers, and they're working through the summer, and they're in the classroom early, or they're staying late. And it's not just when the bell rings.
No, that myth out there that you get summers off and you work just when the kids out there, it's a myth. Our teachers are working nonstop, and I'm not going to lie, it's been tough the last couple of years on everybody, and luckily we have a good support system within each other to reach out to get us through this. I know as administrators, we all work together closely in East China, from the elementary to the secondary, as well as CO. So, and then, reaching out to the teachers when you need something, and they just respond and do it. So we're very fortunate.
Yeah. I've always said that about our community, in general, the school system, and also our regular living community, it's good to support everybody.
And we do have a great support system in our community. I mean, like I said, one of the highlights for me this year was at Ford Field looking up, and I'm sure nobody was in town.
Yeah.
It's just to see how that community pulls together for everything, and it's really nice. They continuously support us, and it's great.
Yeah, it is great. Well, I certainly appreciate you being here with us and taking the time.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the changes that the bond, the current bond is, and
Correct.
and what's going to be happening with the future bonds, and how important those are.
Absolutely.
They're very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, my name is Cheryl Vercamann. I'm the Mayor of Marine City, and this was another edition of the Mayor Minute.